There comes a quiet instant, subtle, almost invisible, when something deep within you whispers, "You don't belong here." Not in the job that feels like it drains your light. Not in the relationship that leaves you smaller than you were. Not in the endless loop of striving for more and receiving less, and though you can't quite explain it, that whisper doesn't leave. Because on the surface, your life might appear fine, stable, successful even, but your soul knows otherwise. That restlessness you feel, that tug of discomfort, isn't failure. It's a signal, a transmission from a higher version of you, one that already lives the life you've been quietly envisioning. A life where every decision feels aligned with your truth, where your energy flows clean and steady, where your outer world mirrors the highest vibration of your inner world. That version of you isn't a fantasy, it's real. And today we're going to explore the science that reveals how you're already connected to it, even if you haven't realized it yet. This isn't about wishful thinking. It's not about dreaming for something better someday. It's about understanding that in the quantum field, everything you could ever desire already exists, not as imagination, but as possibility. And even more than that, those possibilities are already entangled with you. Quantum entanglement isn't just some abstract theory meant for subatomic particles. It's a reflection of how consciousness itself, your identity, your timeline, your choices, are intertwined across space and time. That distance you feel between who you are and who you're meant to be, it's not a void, it's a bridge. And the only reason it feels painful is because one part of you is still tuned to the old frequency, while another part is already trying to rise into the new one, the one that remembers exactly who you're becoming. Let's get something clear from the start. This isn't about attracting your dream life. It's about realizing that your dream life is already reaching out to you. But you can't meet it from the frequency of fear, scarcity, or doubt. You can't recognize a reality that's beyond the emotional patterns you keep rehearsing. To access it, you must shift, not in your surroundings, but in your field. In physics, quantum entanglement shows us something extraordinary. Two particles once connected remain linked, no matter the distance between them. When one changes, the other responds instantly. No signal, no delay, just instantaneous resonance. Now imagine this. What if that same principle applies to you, and the version of you already living your most fulfilled life? What if your emotions, choices, and energy in this exact moment are entangling with your future, altering it, aligning it, shaping it, depending on what you choose to embody right now? You've been told that manifestation is about asking, visualizing, and waiting. But the truth is, you're not summoning anything new. You're remembering, you're reconnecting, you're realigning, you're syncing with a timeline that has been waiting for you to vibrate in harmony with. And that's why it feels so hard when you're stuck, because one part of you is ready to leap forward, while another is still anchored in safety, logic, and survival. But transformation doesn't happen through safety. It happens through resonance. What if the ache you feel isn't the absence of your dream life, but the pressure of its presence trying to align with you? What if the reality you're chasing has been right here all along, waiting for you to stop broadcasting fear and start transmitting belief? This, right here, isn't just an explanation. It's a reminder, a signal, a map guiding you back to what you've always known, that you are a quantum being, that your reality is deeply entangled with infinite possibilities, and that the life you're reaching for is not asking to be created, it's asking to be remembered. So if you've been caught in that space between what is and what could be, pause, breathe, because that space isn't empty. It's sacred. It's charged with potential. And once you learn how to synchronize with it, when your energy becomes coherent, the universe doesn't finally hear you. You finally hear it. For most of human history, we believed reality was something solid, something fixed, measurable, and happening to us. But the deeper science looked, the more that illusion began to fall apart. At the smallest levels of existence, the universe behaves in ways that defy every rule we were taught. And at the heart of it all lies one of the strangest, most beautiful discoveries ever made: quantum entanglement. When two particles interact in a quantum system, they form a connection so deep that neither can be described separately anymore. Their states become intertwined, meaning what happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, but what seemed spooky then is revolutionary now. Here's why it matters. You are not separate from the field. You are not isolated from the version of you that already lives in alignment, in abundance, in peace. Because once a connection exists at the quantum level, it transcends time and space. And if consciousness, your awareness, operates within that same field, as modern science increasingly suggests, then you are already linked to every version of yourself that exists as potential. That future you dream about isn't waiting somewhere far off in time. It's here now, encoded within the field, waiting for your energy to match it. Let's bring that down to earth. Have you ever thought about someone you haven't spoken to in years, and they suddenly text you? Or you start humming a song and seconds later it plays on the radio? These moments aren't coincidences, they're reflections of entanglement. Now imagine something even more profound. There's a version of you right now that's already stepped into clarity, already healed, already free. And because you and that version are entangled, any shift in your energy can begin to influence that timeline instantly. This isn't metaphor, it's field dynamics in motion. The quantum field isn't limited by geography, time, or logic. It's a living ocean of probabilities, constantly rearranging itself based on your state of being. When you live in fear or doubt, you resonate with realities that mirror those emotions. When you feel elevated, clear, and coherent, you naturally connect with versions of reality that reflect that same frequency. So manifestation isn't about forcing or begging for outcomes. It's about matching frequencies. The field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. Dr. Joe Dispenza puts it clearly. The quantum field responds not to what we want, but to who we are. Your intention, when fused with an elevated emotion, creates coherence. And coherence is what makes the field respond. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. Your dream life, the one where you feel aligned, abundant, and free, is already broadcasting on its own frequency. If you're tuned to fear or lack, you'll never hear the song. But when you adjust your internal station, your thoughts, emotions, and self-perception, you don't have to chase the signal. You become the receiver, and that's where the true power lies. Entanglement isn't passive, it's interactive. You're not just connected to that future self. You're influencing it, moment by moment, through what you choose to think, feel, and embody. Every emotion you replay, every belief you reinforce, every story you tell yourself, and it all sends a signal. You are the transmitter, and the field is always listening. For years, people have been taught that manifestation requires repetition, affirmations, scripting, rituals. But in the quantum world, results come not from repetition, but from alignment. That's why some people repeat affirmations endlessly and see no change. Because their words are empty if their vibration contradicts them. But when your inner world aligns, when thought, feeling, and identity resonate, the field has no choice but to mirror that state back to you. So yes, quantum entanglement is real science, but it's also the most intimate form of spirituality. It shows you that your dream life isn't waiting to be found. It's already connected to you. You're not waiting on timing or luck. You're waiting on resonance, because the distance between where you are and where you long to be isn't measured in miles or years. It's measured in vibration. Once you understand this, your focus shifts. You stop trying to reach for what you want. You start tuning into what you already are. The work is no longer about chasing your future. It's about aligning with the frequency that has always been yours. So if the universe really works like that, if the field mirrors who we are, why do so many people still feel stuck? Why do they set intentions, visualize outcomes, and yet keep reliving the same painful patterns? The answer is both simple and profound. Because most people are trying to change their reality without changing their frequency. They speak affirmations from a place of doubt. They imagine abundance, while their body still vibrates with fear. They pray for freedom while their nervous system is addicted to survival. And the universe, ever faithful, ever responsive, mirrors that mixed signal right back to them. See, you can't fool the field. It doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your state. It listens to your energy, not your intentions. That's why real transformation never begins with what you say. It begins with what you feel. Because emotion is energy in motion, and energy is the only language the quantum field truly understands. Every thought you think generates an electromagnetic signature. Every emotion you feel strengthens that signal. Together, they form your personal broadcast, your unique vibration in the fabric of reality. So when you keep feeling unworthy, fearful or limited, even subconsciously, you keep entangling with timelines that match those feelings. It's not punishment, it's physics. But here's the beauty. Once you become aware of this, you reclaim your power. Because awareness itself begins to shift your frequency. You start to notice how often you replay old emotions, anger, guilt, disappointment, as if they were part of your identity. But they're not who you are. They're simply habits of energy. Your body becomes addicted to those familiar emotions because, to your subconscious, familiarity equals safety, even if it hurts. So every morning you wake up and unconsciously recreate the same reality. Same reactions, same emotions, same outcomes. Not because you're broken, but because your nervous system is trying to keep you alive, not necessarily fulfilled. And that's where conscious creation truly begins, not by forcing new thoughts, but by breaking the emotional addiction to the old self. Think about it. You can't step into a higher frequency while dragging along the emotional baggage of your past. You can't become the new version of yourself while your energy is still rehearsing who you used to be. So the question isn't, how do I manifest my dream life? The real question is, how do I become emotionally compatible with it? Because that's the key, emotional compatibility. Your desired reality already exists, but it can only sync with you when your emotions match its vibration. That's why healing isn't just about feeling better, it's about becoming aligned. Forgiveness, gratitude, presence, these aren't just spiritual ideals. They are electromagnetic recalibrations. Each time you release resentment, your field expands. Each time you choose gratitude instead of fear, your vibration rises. Each time you stop replaying your pain and start envisioning your power, your energy begins to harmonize with a higher version of yourself. And the universe doesn't delay that reflection. It responds instantly. Because in the quantum field, time doesn't separate cause and effect. It's all happening now. The version of you that's already free, already successful, already fulfilled, that version begins to entangle more strongly with your current self the moment your emotional frequency becomes a match. And that's why the work isn't external, it's energetic. Because once your inner world becomes coherent, your outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself to match. You don't chase opportunities anymore, they start finding you. You don't fight for connection, it flows to you. You don't beg for signs, you start living as one. This is how true manifestation happens, as quietly, naturally, magnetically, not by forcing but by aligning. So the next time you feel blocked, remember, you're not waiting on the universe. The universe is waiting on you to regulate your energy, to release the noise, to return to coherence. Because when you do, reality doesn't slowly shift. It responds immediately, elegantly, and in perfect resonance with the energy you've become. So how do you shift? How do you move from knowing these ideas to actually living them, to becoming that future version of yourself instead of just dreaming about it? It begins with one simple realization. You don't wait to feel like your future self. You choose to feel like them now, the moment you feel abundance before it shows up, the moment you feel gratitude before the evidence appears, the moment you embody peace before the situation resolves. That's the moment your energy starts to realign, because the quantum field doesn't respond to chronology, it responds to coherence. It doesn't care whether something has happened yet in linear time. It mirrors what you're broadcasting right now. So if you can sustain the emotion of your desired reality, even for a few minutes, your energy begins to entangle with that timeline. You start collapsing possibilities into form, and that's why presence is so powerful. Because every time you return to this moment, right here, right now, you pull your energy out of the past and stop projecting it into the future. You reclaim your power from the timelines that drain you. Presence is the portal to alignment. When you close your eyes, breathe deeply and focus on your heart. Not on what's missing, but on what's possible. Your brain and heart start working together. That's called coherence, and it's measurable. In that state, your electromagnetic field expands. Your intuition heightens, and you begin to sense your connection to something infinite, something beyond logic, beyond limitation, because you're no longer asking the field for something to happen, you're joining it. That's where visualization transforms from fantasy into frequency. You're not just imagining the life you want, you're feeling it into being. Picture your future self, standing in the version of reality you've always wanted. Feel the calm confidence in their chest. Notice how easily they breathe, how grounded they feel. What thoughts do they think? What energy do they carry? And now, instead of observing that version, become them. Borrow their posture, adopt their tone, think their thoughts, feel their emotions as if they're already yours. That's embodiment. And embodiment is how you signal to the field that the shift has already happened. Because when your thoughts, feelings, and body are aligned with that future, the universe no longer sees a difference between then and now. It simply reflects what's coherent. You can't fake that alignment, but you can train it. That's what daily practice is for. When you wake up, before touching your phone, pause, breathe, remind yourself, today I choose to broadcast from my higher frequency. Then act like it's already done. Walk, speak, and create as if the universe is already conspiring in your favor. Because it is. Every action you take from that frequency, no matter how small, starts to reshape your electromagnetic blueprint. And when enough of your moments become aligned, your reality has no choice but to catch up. Because energy always leads matter. The field shifts before form does. That's why the inner work is never wasted. It's writing the code that physical reality will eventually display. So when things seem quiet, when results haven't yet appeared, don't doubt. That silence isn't absence. It's integration. It's the space where the universe rearranges itself in response to your new signal. Hold that energy. Trust that frequency. Because coherence, once achieved, doesn't just attract, it creates. Your job isn't to figure out how it will happen. Your only job is to stay aligned long enough for the field to reflect your new vibration back to you. That's the essence of creation, not control, but communion. When you surrender to that process, life begins to move with you instead of against you. Synchronicities multiply. Opportunities appear without force. People who resonate with your new frequency seem to show up effortlessly. Because the moment you become the vibration of your desired reality, that reality can't help but find you. Maybe the truth isn't that you're lost. Maybe the truth is that you've simply forgotten who you are, and the universe is guiding you back to remembering, because the life you're trying to create, the peace you've been searching for, the love, the freedom, the alignment, none of it is somewhere out there waiting for you. It's within you, encoded in the vibration you were born with. You've just been tuned to the wrong frequency for too long. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every delay, it wasn't punishment. It was recalibration. A sacred disruption, designed to shake you out of alignment with the smallness you settled for, and move you closer to the frequency of who you truly are. You see, the universe doesn't test you to see if you're strong enough. It tests you to show you how powerful you've always been. Because when everything falls apart, when the path disappears, when the silence feels endless, that's when your alignment is being rebuilt. That's when your old reality loses its hold, and your new one starts to take form in the unseen. And when you finally stop fighting for control, when you release the resistance and trust the field to do what it does best, that's when creation begins to flow, not as effort, not as striving, but as synchronicity. You start to notice signs, numbers, patterns, moments that seem too perfect to be coincidence. Those aren't random, they're quantum echoes, reminders from your higher self saying you're getting closer. Every time you choose trust over fear, the bridge between you and your higher timeline strengthens. Every time you stay in gratitude, you magnetize more reasons to be grateful. And every time you refuse to shrink back into your old vibration, the universe mirrors your courage with expansion, because that's how creation truly works, not through effort, but through energy. You're not waiting for miracles. You are the miracle, a conscious fragment of infinity, shaping reality through emotion and awareness. So pause, breathe, and remember, you're not becoming something new. You're returning to what you've always been. You are the awareness that observes the universe and the energy that creates it. You are both the particle and the wave, the dreamer and the dream, the signal and the receiver. Every time you choose presence, the field rearranges. Every time you choose alignment, a new timeline unfolds, and one day you'll wake up and realize the life you once chased is now the life you're living. Not because the world changed, but because you did. So trust the timing, trust the unseen, and above all, trust the resonance, because in this quantum universe, the frequency you hold becomes the future you live, and the future is not coming. It's already here, waiting for you to remember that you've been entangled with it all along.